the report. Let's wait for the report, because they know who's going to be writing the report, and I suspect they know some of the things, frankly, that are going to be in the report. Wasn't Mr. Weissman at the Hillary Clinton victory party?
Yes, I've heard that's true.
I understand she lost.
Yes.
And that upset him very much. Didn't he send a communication to Sally Yates, who was the acting attorney general at one point, an Obama leftist appointee who had been the deputy attorney general? And while Schumer and the Democrats were holding up Sessions for confirmation until they could, drag a recusal out of him, she was the acting attorney general who blocked the president of the United States because she was not going to allow the Justice Department to argue for his executive order in defense of it on the limited immigration status of certain countries, individuals from certain countries. And he told her to keep it up. Good fight.
Oh, yes. He was applauding her resistance to the president.
You've been doing this a long time. You're a prosecutor a long time, defense counsel a long time. The media treatment of this. I look at the media treatment of Ken Starr and the media treatment of Robert Mueller, and they're mirror opposites of each other. Have the media gone completely in the tank, do you think?
Oh, yes, I have no doubt about that. But another thing you need to know is that Andrew Weissman is a master manipulator of the media. He did that throughout the Enron litigation also. In fact, he sat in the courtroom with his arm around Mary Flood, who was the lead reporter for the Houston Chronicle throughout the Enron litigation.
Didn't he, at some point during the course of the current investigation, brief the Associated Press, as I recall?
Oh, yes. That was early in, I think before he was on special counsel's team in Department of Justice when he was looking into the Manafort issues.
I'm going to pursue this with you in a moment. Don't forget, folks, almost every weeknight you can watch me on Levin TV. Imagine that, Levin TV. Sign up. Give us a call at 844-LEVIN-TV, 844-LEVIN-TV, or go to blazetv.com/Mark, blazetv.com/Mark. We'll be right back. Leaking. There's been a lot of leaking. The head of the FBI, Comey, tried to cover up his leak until he was under oath in front of Congress. Why else would he try and leak through his professor friend? McCabe, number 2, leaker. Baker, number 3, the general counsel there, leaker. The number 2 and number 3 are under criminal investigation. Stroke, leaker. Page, I suppose, a leak. Lots of leaking at the top levels of the FBI in the course of a criminal investigation. First, a counterintelligence investigation. Now, in terms of the special counsel's office, I've speculated or surmised that they're leakers. And that's one of the reasons the media treats them so well. Of course, they hate Trump, and they want to see Trump hanging from a telephone pole. But also, these are their sources. So when this BuzzFeed article came out, they basically pointed to the special counsel's office. Where else would you get these documents, texts, emails from? Even if there's a pass-through to anonymous law enforcement officials, they would have had to have come out of Mueller's office. So I went on the radio and I said, for an hour, we have 8.5 million listeners, and that's just on terrestrial radio. I don't know, satellite and the internet. Okay, Justice Department, now you have your basis for a leak investigation. You need to conduct a leak investigation into Mueller's office. Now, what's a leak investigation involve? You have 2 FBI agents come in, offer lie detector tests. If those prosecutors turn them down, that's fine. They're still going to be interviewed. So all of a sudden, the false statements pops up. All of a sudden, they're on the line, and the questions that they would be asked wouldn't be just about BuzzFeed. Have you ever talked to the media? When did you talk to the media? Who in the media? What media outlets? By the way, we want your texts. We want your emails. We want your phone logs. They would have been caught up in a massive scandal. This is my opinion. What do you think about that?
Oh, I agree with you completely. That's Weissman's standard operating procedure. He crafts the narrative he wants in the media to convict people ahead of the charges being brought or ahead of their trial. He did that in the Enron and Merrill Lynch litigation also.
And it's interesting to me that in the mass media, the hard left mass media, there's no criticism whatsoever of this prosecutor's office. I've never seen anything like it. No prosecutor's treated this way. No prosecutor's staff is treated this way. Now, I know they despise Trump, they want him out, that they're mouthpieces for the left and so forth. But their sources have been the head of the FBI, the number 2 at the FBI, the number 3 at the FBI, others at the FBI, people at DOJ, and I believe people in the special counsel's office. And I think that's why they took this rare occasion, actually it's the second time I believe they've done it, to issue this statement and distance themselves from BuzzFeed. This is the story, I think, that the media, even the conservative media, are getting dead wrong. They're praising Mueller. Look at this. I mean, the guy's a good guy. I mean, after all, he put out a statement. It's self-serving.
It was totally self-serving. They were protecting themselves.
Mm-hmm. Now, in terms of this report that they're writing, you don't doubt that Weissman has a heavy hand in this, right? He's the number 2 under Mueller.
I am sure Mr. Weissman will edit every word of it.
Mm-hmm. And they'll deliver it to the Attorney General. Then the Attorney General will be pressured to deliver it to Congress, to deliver it to the media. But there could be grand jury information in there. There could be national security information in there that honestly has to be removed. And so it seems to me the left, whether they're journalists or members of Congress, are going to argue cover up, cover up, cover up. In other words, they're not going to even let it go with the report. Do you think?
I'm sure there's going to be a huge uproar over all of it.
And let me ask you this from a constitutional perspective. A prosecutor issuing a report accusing people of stuff, is that constitutional?
It's wholly inappropriate because the only charges a prosecutor is supposed to bring are in an indictment. And the report should be as minimal as possible and only for the eyes of the Attorney General. Otherwise, it's like what Comey did in his July 5th speech. It's inappropriate from every perspective. It should either be charges are being brought or charges are not being brought.
Completely undermines the Bill of Rights, due process, presumption of innocence, and unfortunately a president who cannot be indicted while sitting in office, according to the Department of Justice. How does he get his name back?
Yeah, it creates a massive smear campaign. But then that's what they want. That's what this was all about to begin with.
We'll be right back. Attorney General in the Reagan administration, I can tell you that my Attorney General, Ed Meese, played it straight, fair and square. He told the U.S. attorneys to do the same. He told the criminal division to do the same. Play it straight. He was a former prosecutor himself. I see an increasingly political Department of Justice and FBI. What do you see?
Oh, the same thing. I mean, that's one of the reasons I felt compelled to write and self-publish License to Lie. I literally could not sleep because of what I had seen. It was so egregious, such appalling prosecutorial misconduct. And it got even worse under the Obama administration. I mean, when I saw the people I named in the book that were chosen for the Enron Task Force during the Bush administration, then promoted to the highest halls of government during the Obama administration, and literally come to run the White House, the FBI, and the Department of Justice, I could not be quiet about it. I had to try to alert the American public to what was going on.
Any attorney general in recent times more political than Eric Holder?
Absolutely not. I mean, we have just witnessed the unprecedented politicization and weaponization of every federal agency under President Obama, and the worst ever of the Department of Justice and the FBI.
And let us not forget all these things we've talked about with the FBI and so forth happened under Obama. Loretta Lynch, under Obama. All these activities, the Russian interference in the election, Obama. It's been an enormous pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Thanks for all the work that you do. Ladies and gentlemen, join us next time on Life, Liberty, and Levin.